Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the podcast that is too good for Barry Horowitz. This is Lost in the Midcard, episode 3. We're coming to you a day late due to some illness, but hey, it's that time of the year, so shit like that will definitely happen. Both Matt and I have been going through our own different types of illnesses over the last couple weeks, but we are here for the people. Matt, how are you doing today?
Man, I got a cough drop in my mouth, but I'm ready to go. You know,
all right.
If I cough in everybody's ear at any point, I sincerely apologize. But trust me, doing this a day later was probably best for business.
Best for business, yes. And oh boy, we got a lot of best for business to talk about with the Authority. But first off, let's talk about the main story for the second year in a row, maybe. The main event of WrestleMania could be changed. It was announced by Triple H 7 days ago that at Fastlane, the winner between Seth Rollins and Daniel Bryan would go on to face Roman Reigns, and the winner at Fastlane gets to face Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania. And there's also a little bit of news that kind of broke throughout the internet world today in regards to that. We'll get to that in a minute, but first, Daniel Bryan came out on top at Raw last week, and that sets up the matchup right now that we have at Fastlane between Daniel Bryan and Roman Reigns. Matt, what do you think about this little wrinkle where the Authority played it off as kind of tricking Roman Reigns into accepting this match here?
I mean, I think it was the smartest thing they could do right now, because the last thing they want to do is have a repeat of last year, where their shows are being hijacked week in and week out, and they can't properly tell the stories that they want to tell. So even if they don't plan on putting Daniel Bryan in the main event of WrestleMania, at least they have another couple weeks to try to change people's minds on Reigns, or maybe turn Reigns heel and turn Brock face and get that dynamic down before Fastlane is over. Because as soon as they go through Fastlane, and as soon as Bryan's out of the main event picture, I truly think that's when WWE needs to worry about what they're going to be doing. And I don't think what they did on Raw tonight really did Roman any favors on the side of the face fan base going forward. So, man, it's time to if they're still going for Brock and Roman at Mania 1-on-1, it's time for the full face turn of Brock Lesnar, baby.
Well, I think Roman is performing well, and we'll get into more in depth about tonight's Raw on our special Tuesday edition. It enables us to talk about 2 Raws, which is kind of cool. But I think Roman has performed well since the Royal Rumble. Like I said, I liked his interview face-to-face with Lesnar at the snowed-in Raw. I think he's been solid against The Miz on SmackDown. That was actually a pretty good match. It wasn't just a squash of The Miz. And tonight, on Raw, ending it with a spear on Daniel Bryan, I think they brought Bryan into the storyline just to kind of get acceptance for Roman Reigns, and as a heel, I think, I would be accepting of a one-on-one match with Roman Reigns against Brock Lesnar, where Lesnar's the face and Reigns is the heel. I think that would be a solid main event of WrestleMania. But as word on the internets broke today, I believe Dave Meltzer from the Wrestling Observer reported this. It almost sounds like they might go triple threat again for the second straight year. What do you think about that, Matt?
Look, I'm all for a triple threat match if they want to go in that direction again. But the fact of the matter is, there's only one wrestling news source that I trust online, and that's PW Insider. and there has been nothing from that website today regarding any type of plans to do a triple threat match at WrestleMania. Meltzer has been wrong so many times over the past couple of years. I really take almost everything he says anymore with a grain of salt.
So you're actually saying that you trust something on the internet, though?
I do. I do. If it comes from PW Insider, I trust it. I've been an elite member there for 10 years. It's the only wrestling news source site that I trust, and I'm sure a lot of people see things online being credited to PW Insider that probably never even came from them to begin with. If you want legitimate news, go directly to the source. And they're the only wrestling news site online that I trust, honestly. And I didn't see anything from them today. I heard about the Meltzer stuff on social media, but until I hear something from them one way or another, I'm not really buying this is actually happening. But it's not a bad idea because, like I said a few minutes ago, once you take Bryan out of the main event picture, you're dealing with 5-6 weeks till WrestleMania, where you're going to have to deal with fans angry that Daniel Bryan's not involved in the main event. And look, dude, Brock had one of the best triple threat matches ever.
Yeah.
At the Royal Rumble.
Yeah. So I mean
everybody loved that match, and I think Bryan is Seth Rollins. In Roman Reigns is John Cena. I mean, in terms of their ability to, put on a great match.
Yeah.
I think that the three of them could do a repeat of the Rumble. They closed the show. Maybe they're receiving a cash in afterwards. I don't know. But I think that triple threat at Mania, I think that would be awesome. I wouldn't have any issues with that at all. The only issue I would have if they go forward with Roman and Brock, and Roman's going to be heel and Brock's going to be face. My only issue I have with that match, and I've said this countless times before, they need to sign Brock to a new deal before WrestleMania, and it has to be public knowledge that Brock has been locked into a new contract, so people can actually go in to this match and not really know who's going to come out. Because if we know, let's say at the end of March, Brock still hasn't signed a new deal, we're all going into WrestleMania expecting that title to change. If Brock has a new contract and he's going in as the babyface, there's definitely, you don't know if Brock's going to lose. Brock could very easily retain and, continue on his dominance, or they could have Reigns beat Brock and have Brock, chase him to get a rematch. There's possibilities there. But without Brock signing a new deal, they're pushing themselves into a corner, which is honestly why the triple threat match might even be better, because that way you have two different people who could leave as champion. 3 if you count Seth Rollins.
Yeah.
So that's not a bad thing at all.
And for the million,
at least that way it keeps people guessing.
Yeah, and for the millions, there's 1 million subscribers to the WWE Network. I'm not sure all 1 million people watched the Stone Cold podcast with Triple H, but I mean, Stone Cold brought it up. It's anybody that watched that great interview last week now know that Lesnar's contract is going to end at WrestleMania. So more and more of the public, the WWE universe, is aware of that now.
Yeah, because basically, if you didn't know, now you know.
Yeah,
right? It's right out there for public knowledge for anybody to see.
Yeah, and I don't know. I mean, keeping it a secret is not something they should do this time. We don't really need any surprises with Brock Lesnar. We need to know what he's going to do. And, at the same time, what he's going to do, if he's coming back, it doesn't mean he's going to win at WrestleMania. Seth Rollins could be walking out with it. And there's a lot of different ways that Brock Lesnar can still go if he re-signs with the company. So it'll be interesting to see what he does. Now we're going to take a quick little look back at the past week here with WWE. Nothing really on last week's Raw to really mention that we won't mention later with this coming Raw, of course, except for the big announcement. Go back to SmackDown though on Thursday night. What did you think about Roman Reigns' performance there, Miz TV, just knocking Daniel Bryan out and going from there?
You mean knocking Miz out, right?
Or knocking Miz out, yeah.
Yeah. No, I thought it was funny, and I thought it portrayed him as the badass babyface that just didn't give a damn. And I'm not coming out here to listen to your mouth, Miz. So I'm not even gonna let you speak. I'm just gonna punch you in the mouth and shut you up right now. I thought it was good, and I thought they did a pretty good job of displaying him as a badass face last week. But this week was much more heel tendency side than he was last week. And I'm not one of the people who say that he turned heel on Raw tonight, but there's a lot of people out there that think he did. So you have a very interesting situation going forward.
I mean, it's hard to say that he turned heel because, well, I mean, that is his opponent, and Daniel Bryan did accidentally hit him, and you know what that means when you know.
Yeah, exactly. I thought it was a receipt.
Yeah.
Honestly, Bryan wouldn't get out of his face. Bryan kicked him at the beginning of the show. Reigns gave him a receipt with the spear. But there were a lot of people on my timeline, and a lot of people messaging me afterwards like, "Yep, there it is. Reigns is a heel." I'm like, I don't know if I agree with that. I don't really know if I see him as a heel just because of that. So I think the verdict's still out on that. I think a lot more will be known on SmackDown on Thursday.
Well, I bet you on Thursday SmackDown, WWE's going to pipe in positive crowd noise for Reigns, so we won't really know.
He certainly didn't get much on Raw tonight.
No, but they piped it in last week. They're probably going to pipe it in this week, and then so it probably won't be till next Monday until we actually see what we'll see what he does on SmackDown, but we won't be able to really gauge the crowd reaction with that just because of the stupid crowd piping. But
honestly, that's one of my main issues with SmackDown every week.
Yeah,
is I can't truly gauge how the audience is reacting because of WWE's audio edits that they put into the show every week.
Well, it's so ridiculous because you'll hear a pop, but yet nobody's even moving in the crowd.
Yeah, it's kind of annoying.
Yeah, I wish it would go live, but obviously logistics and the scheduling do not allow for them to record a live show on Thursday, and it's kind of tough, especially on a pay-per-view week. If you have a Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, I think that's just too much. I mean, it's already a lot as it is, but if you bump it into 3 nights in a row, that's just a lot for people to try to take in.
Yeah,
too.
No, I agree. I mean, I understand Tuesday nights is really the only logical night for them to be live for SmackDown, but that's a lot of wrestling back to back to back.
Yeah, I mean,
they were to do that, like even Raw and SmackDown's kind of a lot. If you tack on a 3-hour pay-per-view on top of that, and that's 8 hours of wrestling in 3 days. That's a lot of live wrestling to take in 3 days, especially sometimes when it's not as good as it should be.
And I just do not get the crowd piping. Obviously, the WWE wants to force us to think that, yeah, you're supposed to cheer this guy and you're supposed to boo this guy, but it's ridiculous. I mean, there's examples like Bray Wyatt. In SmackDown, you hear just all choruses of boos. That is not the case, especially on Raw. You heard loud chants of for Ziggler and Wyatt. We'll get into Raw here in just a minute, but yeah, that's definitely a huge pet peeve of mine with SmackDown. I don't mind it being taped, but God, don't edit it unless somebody really fucked up.
Yeah, I mean, look, if there's like language chants or stuff like that, I completely understand you have to edit stuff like that out for taped television, but I don't think you should be piping in cheers and boos to try to sway the watcher at home to follow along with how you feel that they should perceive the product. I mean, the crowd was very clear tonight that when Bryan hit Reigns at the beginning of the show, there really wasn't any boos. Everybody saw it as, oh, it was an accident. That sucks, but it's the Authority being jerks, trying to, turn these guys against each other. But when Reigns speared Bryan at the end of the show, the boos were very loud and clear that the crowd did not approve of that action. And if that would have been done on SmackDown, we probably would have had some piped-in cheers instead, and that would have been lame.
Yeah, definitely. And like I said, we'll get into that in just a minute with how it went down tonight. But I fully agree.
I keep jumping in, man. I can't help it. I'm sorry.
It was a good Raw, though. A lot of good stuff happened. Why don't we just go into that? Let's kick it off. Hey, look, Raw didn't start off with a gigantic promo from the Authority, but yet we still had the Authority.
Yeah.
Obviously, we got Roman Reigns coming down, and we got Daniel Bryan coming down, and then of course the Authority comes out. So it wasn't a long 25-minute promo like last week. It was damn near 30 minutes, I think. But at least we didn't really kick off with the Authority, but of course the Authority has to be in the open, and of course that led into a tag match with Daniel Bryan, Roman Reigns against Kane and Big Show. For what it was, not a bad match.
No, it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad for an opener, and it got the crowd hot, to start off to see, presumably two of the favorites in action right off the bat against two people that, well,
Yeah, we all know your feelings about Kane and Big Show.
Oh,
so
yeah.
We don't have to go there. Obviously the team of Daniel Bryan, Roman Reigns, they got together. They were on the same page for the most part, of course, until the end, after the DQ finish, and then Daniel Bryan going for one of those dives into the turnbuckle and ended up inadvertently hitting Roman Reigns, and so obviously That's going to happen because these two guys are going to face each other at Fastlane. So, of course, we can't just have everybody playing nice now, can we?
No, of course not.
And, of course, the Authority still, has to be in the open of the show for some odd reason. So, later on tonight, we're going to get basically a repeat of the same thing, except we're going to add Seth Rollins and J&J Security on a 5-on-2 match.
It's funny about the big long opening promo, but I think after hearing Triple H on the Stone Cold podcast last week, I kind of understand why they do it.
What on that podcast made you think that way?
It was like, what would you like to change on on Raw?
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things Triple H came right out and said was, I wish we could go back to 2 hours.
Mm-hmm.
And I completely agree with that. And you know what? If you can kind of stretch out a long-ass 30-minute promo to start the show, you've kind of cut Raw down to like 2.5 hours. So, if you're trying to just get a gigantic promo in the beginning to try to cut down the 3-hour time to a more manageable booked 2 hours, I actually understand that. It makes sense to me if that's their train of thought and that's what they're trying to do. It's just something I thought about when I saw when I saw Triple H mention that last week.
Well, why not have longer matches in the mid-card then? Why not have longer matches for Divas?
No.
I mean,
those
are other ways.
Well, Triple H also said he wanted to do that.
Yeah.
We all know that's a Vince decision.
Yeah. I mean, there's other ways to stretch out that 3 hours. Now, we all understand, or at least a lot of us that have a lot of knowledge of the business and how the business works, we all understand how hard it is to do a 3-hour show every year, 52 weeks in the year. And, it's extremely tough. And Triple H will tell you that third hour is the hardest thing to write. So, I mean, a lot of us that know the business from the inside, we understand that, but at the same time, doing the same old shit every week, that does need to get changed up a little bit, I think.
Yeah. No, I hear. I felt, it might have been like a reasoning behind why they're choosing to try to stretch out the opening segments every week, just trying to cut down on the overall time of the 3-hour broadcast.
Yeah, and apparently this edition of Raw is Groundhog Day a week later, because we're going to see Seth Rollins on the main event with J&J Security. And we get Seth Rollins right away after the tag match. We get Seth Rollins against Ryback, basically. I don't know. Just to me, it was just kind of a waste of time. I think it was. I mean, it's the same old shit with the Authority, and I like Rollins, J&J Security, but I don't know. It just like going for 2 minutes and then having another DQ finish after you already had a DQ finish to start the show. I think that was kind of a waste.
Yeah, it was kind of funny because Booker T said after the second match of the show, he was just like, "What is this, a rerun?" And I'm like, Booker, you have no idea how right you are, sir.
Yep.
You have no idea how right you are.
No kidding. So basically that just, further adds to the fact that the Authority is swinging their dicks around, and so we just get a little 3-minute match there. And speaking of 3-minute matches, right after that, we get a Brie mode, the most annoying entrance music in the WWE, I would have to say. Against Paige. I thought this felt like it went longer than 3 minutes, but it only went 3 minutes.
Was it only 3 minutes?
Yep, it clocked in.
It did feel longer than 3 minutes. I thought it was a good match. For the time they were given, I thought they put on a good match with the time that they had. I thought it was longer than 3 minutes. That's surprising to me.
I thought so too, but it looks like it did clock in at around 3 minutes, a little after 3 minutes. Very predictably Paige winning, because obviously Paige is going for the Divas title against Nikki Bella at Fastlane. So we got our typical little 3-minute Divas match there. Next up after that, we got Rusev cutting a promo, John Cena showing a video package, John Cena looking like a hero and everything until the screen goes black and we see a lot of John Cena getting his ass kicked. Typical good production from the WWE. They always do great with those promo videos. And basically they're saying Cena's time has passed. He's getting old. He's getting hurt. They showed the Batista bomb off the top rope that injured Cena. They showed the softball that was in his elbow. They showed a whole bunch of different things there, just kind of to prove the point that John Cena's a broken man and can no way hang with Rusev. And of course, after Lana says her spiel, Rusev grabs the mic, and I gotta tell you what though, I am enjoying every time Rusev grabs the mic. He's getting better week after week. Dude,
Rusev was gold on the mic tonight. And when he did the thing with when he told Cena that he only had one eye and he couldn't see him, and did the freaking hand wave thing, I popped. I'm like, dude, that's freaking amazing.
Yeah, he's evolving.
He is, and he's totally awesome. Him and Lana are they're freaking fantastic. They're such great heels.
Yeah, I mean, when we got this little face-to-face at the Royal Rumble, I wanted to write that article on What Culture of eight ways to make Rusev a bigger star in feuding with Cena, because this is kind of the feud we've been wanting to see. Obviously, I think Rusev's going to go over I think Rusev's actually going to go over in the long run. I think we get some kind of count out or DQ or something. These guys face off at WrestleMania, and I think Rusev actually is going to go over John Cena at WrestleMania this year.
I kind of have a different plan in mind for what happens.
Yeah,
for Fastlane at WrestleMania. At least how I would fantasy book the next 2 months for these guys. I'm missing one important factor, and I can't quite place who it should be. But if I could just find the right guy, I have the perfect 2-month storyline from Fastlane to WrestleMania for Cena and Rusev. It's perfect. Yeah, it's perfect. Bottom line. You can't tell me otherwise.
Do you want to share with the class?
I will share it with the class. Why not? Hard-fought match at Fastlane. Cena and Rusev. Rusev makes Cena pass out in the Accolade. He doesn't tap out. He passes out. Rusev wins. Justifies that Cena's old. And, he shouldn't be doing this anymore. And Cena's doubting himself. And all this. And Hogan comes back. Because, look, everybody's been talking about Hogan, saying that he wants to do another match. Hogan comes back and sides with John Cena as, the old guy, but the even older guy. And Hogan and Cena tag up. So you don't have Hogan in a one-on-one match at WrestleMania. You put him in a tag match where someone can work with him. You do Hogan and Cena against Rusev and somebody else at Mania. You let Cena and Hogan go over, but they pin whoever Rusev's tag partner is. I can't figure out who they should tag Rusev with yet. I've been thinking about it for the past couple weeks. I can't figure it out. But that way, Rusev doesn't get pinned and submitted at Mania. Cena and Hogan have a big WrestleMania moment. Rusev gets the big rub by beating Cena at Fastlane, and they just separate after WrestleMania. Let Rusev continue to go on with the U.S. title. Let Cena move on to something else. Rusev escapes the Cena feud unscathed, and everybody's better off for it.
I think Cena's at the point now where he should start putting people over. He should have started with Bray Wyatt last year, but
it's not his call, dude.
Yeah, it's true.
I don't think John Cena went to Vince and said, I need to go over Bray Wyatt, Jack, because I need that rub at WrestleMania, man. I don't think John Cena's politicking backstage to beat people like Bray Wyatt at WrestleMania. I think he wants to put people over and have people step up just as badly as everybody else. But if Vince is just so reliant on John Cena that you can't convince him otherwise. But I really think if they can just find the right partner for Rusev, I think this would all work. Hogan's still a draw. He's practically begging to have one more match. So you put him and Cena together. He doesn't have to do much because he can't. I don't think he can do the leg drop anymore. But he can go in there and he can do every spot besides the leg drop. He can go and do the U and do the 3 punches, do the boot. They could have Cena do the leg drop if they want to.
Oh, yeah.
Hogan could put that over, and it would be huge. And you have the pose down at the end with Cena and Hogan and the red, white, and blue fireworks going off at the San Francisco Stadium. And it would be a big WrestleMania moment. And you don't hurt Rusev at all because Rusev isn't the guy getting pinned. As I said, I'm just having a really hard time figuring out who to tag Rusev with for this match. That's my only issue.
I got an idea, but, he's been booked so poorly that it would just not fit with the enormity of the matchup, but I think an interesting one would be Jack Swagger.
Jack Swagger teaming with Rusev?
All of a sudden Jack Swagger is heel again, where he should be, But, he's been booked so poorly that he wouldn't fit into this match. So,
dude, he hasn't even been on TV in it's
a while.
He was he was in the Rumble, but other than that, I can't remember the last time I saw him on Raw or SmackDown.
Yeah, and Coulter's been out selling the Attack.
He had surgery. He had surgery or something.
Did he?
Yeah, the Attack was done as a storyline reason to get him off TV because he had to have some kind of surgery.
Mm.
But yeah, I guess that would work. The Russian sympathizer Jack Swagger.
Well, how about this guy that's coming back that we saw some vignettes on? How about Sheamus?
Well, he's certainly not American.
Yeah,
I would be okay with that. Maybe Sheamus comes out and costs Cena the match against Rusev. Maybe he does something to distract Cena. And that allows Rusev to lock in the Accolade on Cena.
Yeah, and they have history of, Sheamus won his first world title against John Cena. So
and Cena pinning Sheamus at WrestleMania wouldn't hurt Sheamus.
No.
At all. That really wouldn't be that big of a deal. You know, it's not like there hasn't been damage done to him already. So, yeah. I mean, Sheamus would work. I'd be okay with that. Sheamus and Rusev against John Cena and Hulk Hogan, WrestleMania 31. Book it.
Yeah, speaking of Sheamus, we had two different vignettes, or they were the same vignette, I think, if I remember right. But
they were the same, yeah.
Yeah, 2 times we saw vignettes of Sheamus returning. Most likely, probably next week's Raw, the last Raw before Fastlane.
Well, they kept. I kept making fun of them on Twitter, you know, because they would do this segment and it says Sheamus returns. And
when?
I'm like, when?
Yeah.
You know, because they're not freaking telling you when he's coming back. Just Sheamus returns. I'm like, okay, thanks for sharing. How about you tell me when he's returning? Because I know he's backstage at Raw tonight, and you didn't burn him out.
Well, maybe they're waiting until Fastlane.
Dude, I'm telling you, I like your idea. Sheamus and Rusev, do it.
They definitely wanted to turn him heel and have him feud with Daniel Bryan before the Roman Reigns debacle. So
Bryan's busy.
There's a lot of faces right now on the top of the card. A lot of I got mid card.
Dude, there are so many people lost in the mid card.
Yeah, there are, and there's a lot of top faces, and especially when Randy Orton comes back, I think. Sheamus definitely. I mean, Sheamus's career accolades come from being a heel. So we'll have to see what happens there when he returns, whenever he returns, since the damn vignette didn't tell us. Next match, we got a repeat of last week, and hey, this repeat, we don't care. Give us this every week, because Bray Wyatt and Dolph Ziggler stole the show once again tonight.
Oh yeah, they work extremely well together. My only issue, 2 weeks in a row, I want the damn gong. You know, because make no mistake about it, Bray's freaking calling out the dead man. Yeah, so he doesn't even need to show up. Just in the middle of the match, just go. You know, he has them in Sister Abigail. He's about to hit it, and the lights go and go gong. Dude, that's all you have to freaking do. And then maybe Ziggler rolls him up and gets a quick roll up win afterwards. That would have been dope.
That could be next week, because we got one more Raw. I mean, it ain't official that Wyatt and Ziggler are going to face each other at Fastlane, but I think we're definitely heading in that direction.
Yeah, well, there's really no plans for either guy right now.
No.
I mean, they did kind of reinsert Ziggler, Rowan, and Ryback into the Authority mix tonight, so there might be a big multi-man Authority versus, the other guys. Match
that could be.
I don't know.
It could be Ziggler. It could be Ziggler's punishment at Fastlane, where the Authority puts him in a match against Bray Wyatt, maybe no DQ or something like that.
Maybe.
Bray Wyatt gets a pinfall for the second straight week, but damn, we got a good 12-minute match out of that. So definitely is going to add to the card if those two are going to do it. So what do you think? What was in Wyatt's head when he was pulling the mats back outside of the ring?
I think he was going to Sister Abigail him on the concrete.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think is what he was saying. I think is what he was going for, and obviously the officials stopped him from doing that.
Yep, and after that we get a promo from Paul Heyman with Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar making the easiest paycheck of the night.
I know. He didn't even save a word. I didn't get a baby out of Brock tonight, man.
No, it's not there yet.
No, I need the baby promos.
You gotta be patient. Good promo from Heyman as usual. Setting up the table for what we're gonna see here a week from Sunday at Fastlane. After that, we get another tag match. Teddy Long special. A New Day, who, I don't know, it was great on paper, but I'm really getting bored with it. Turn these guys heel anytime now. They faced Golden Stardust, which obviously, it's like they're booking Golden Stardust against faces, then heels, then faces, then heels. It's kind of confusing, but obviously...
because there's really nothing going on right now. I mean, Golden Stardust are really just in a collision course to face each other.
The big thing, obviously, Cody. Don't call me Cody.
Yeah.
walks out on the match for the second straight match there, as he did the same thing on SmackDown last week. And we get a backstage segment with these two guys following the commercial break, and Goldust is in Cody's face saying, "This is Dustin talking to you, not Goldust." And he called him Cody again, and Cody got pissed and pushed him into some well-placed pipes for effect, obviously.
Those pipes didn't, those lights didn't bust, man. Those lights are dangerous. I don't like
those. I thought they were metal pipes. I thought those were metal pipes.
Dude, they looked more like the, like the ceiling lights, that you put in the big long light fixtures up in the up in the ceiling. Those ones that those backyard wrestling idiots take and break them over their friend's back and they smash it to 1,000 pieces. That's what they look like to me. I could have been wrong though, but yeah, those things shatter like crazy.
I thought those were just the standard metal pipes that they just strategically place there because it makes a lot of noise when you throw somebody into them.
No, it could be.
We got Triple H demanding an answer from Sting.
Dude,
for his call out. We got the lights went out. We got a lot of crow hawking going around. We saw some spotlights on. Oh, was that Sting? Oh, turn it off. Oh, another spotlight. Was that Sting? And then in the ring, we got a guy dressed as Sting, and that scared the shit out of Triple H as he fell on his ass. But overall, great promo that ended with. On the words on the screen, "I accept." So we will see Sting at Fastlane a week from Sunday.
Dude, how awesome is WWE handling the booking of Sting? Are you freaking kidding me? This is the best booking they've ever done for a guy that they brought in from WCW.
I mean, he hasn't even said a word yet, so imagine when he finally talks at Fastlane.
They've done a phenomenal job. Triple H sold the shit out of fearing Sting tonight, and
that was great.
It was freaking awesome. I mean, I loved everything about it. If I have to nitpick on something, I wish the guy that came in the ring behind Triple H would have looked a little bit more like Sting. But other than that, I thought the entire thing was just done awesomely. They nailed it. I loved everything about it. I thought it was fantastic, and I can't freaking wait to see Sting and Triple H at WrestleMania. I can't wait.
Yeah, we're the table is getting set. We're gonna have ourselves an exciting segment at Fastlane. So Fastlane definitely shaping up to be better than just your little filler between the Rumble and WrestleMania. So we'll definitely be excited to see what happens when they come face to face, which definitely will most likely set up the WrestleMania match between the two. We get the continued feud between the Usos and Tyson Kidd and Cesaro, and this time we get a tag match. Both Tyson Kidd and Cesaro successfully defeating each one of the Usos in singles competition, and tonight we get ourselves a good push for match of the night with this tag match, and in the end, Cesaro and Tyson Kidd come out victorious. And tell you what, man, let's have some more. Let's have a good 2-3 month feud with these four people, huh?
Well, I would certainly think you're going to see these guys in the Usos for the tag titles at Fastlane.
Yeah.
I think all the titles right now are primed for very important positions at that pay-per-view, which really doesn't happen every year leading into WrestleMania. I really feel like all the title matches, every single one of them, deem a great deal of importance going into WrestleMania. So I'm pretty excited about it. I think it's going to be great.
Yeah, a lot of times with the tag team titles, it's almost like an afterthought at WrestleMania. It was the opener one time, and it was a great opener. It was like a fatal 4-way elimination match for the tag team titles.
It was great. It was good though. I mean, I think it was on the pre-show.
Yeah, it was one of the best matches of the night.
Yeah, it was. Dude, WrestleMania 30 was awesome. I was there in the dome, brother. In the Silver Dome.
Yeah. Thanks, Hulk.
And it was, dude, that was a magical night in that stadium. It was awesome.
So we will probably see Cesaro and Kidd take on the Usos at Fastlane, and then we'll see if that leads into a WrestleMania match later on. We'll have to see that. After the match, we found out our next inductee into the Hall of Fame, and I can't wait to hear Matt's take on this. None other than Rikishi, the Usos' father, is going to be inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame. Matt, well, first off, let's start with your take on this one here, because I think you probably won't like this.
I don't think he's retired. He doesn't feel like one of those guys that are permanently gone from the business. I don't feel that he's old enough to be inducted. I mean, I know that's weird, seeing as people like Edge and them are in, but I mean, Edge is retired for good. You know, Edge is never coming back. I don't really see Rikishi as a first ballot, so to speak, Hall of Famer. Vader's not in yet. Ravishing Rick Rude's not in yet, but Rikishi's in. And I know it's all about, you know, he's from the Bay Area over there in California, so it's kind of like a hometown thing. And obviously, you know, with the whole Inouye family, you want to keep everybody involved in that, you know, nice and happy going forward. But don't get me wrong, I like Rikishi. I always liked Rikishi. I was a big Too Cool fan. I liked him when he was making a difference and cleaning it up. You know, I liked him as the head shrinker. But I never said, yeah, Rikishi, yeah, I see him in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know, man. There's so many other people that I feel like should have been, that should be in before him. And if we're talking big men, Vader should most certainly be inducted into the Hall of Fame before Rikishi.
Well, there's no doubt about that. Here's my take on it. I was a little surprised when I saw the news break this afternoon. It definitely did not strike me as, yeah, this guy's in the Hall of Fame. I mean, his credentials in the ring definitely are not Hall of Fame. He's won 3 tag team championships and 1 Intercontinental Championship. He's had some great moments. Hell in a Cell, you know, when the Undertaker threw him off into the truck, you know, he's had some pretty cool moments. My thinking is this is sports entertainment, so he's getting inducted on the entertainment side of the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, I get that. I think it has more to do with the family that he's involved into.
Yeah.
I really think that heavily ties into why he's going in this year. With the area and the family that's involved, yeah. I think has a lot to do with him going in. I just if this would be the year 2020 instead of 2015, and he hasn't been in the WWE for 5 years, all right, cool. Big Keish getting the Hall of Fame nod. I can dig it.
Yeah.
But I just think it's too soon.
He's still wrestling.
I feel like I just saw him on Raw last year.
But
dancing with his kids.
He's still wrestling, but he's not wrestling for the WWE. So maybe in the WWE's mind, well, he's done with them full time.
Yeah, but so. I mean, I feel like I just saw him on WWE TV last year. Am I wrong on that? Like, it feels like it was just.
Well, he was part of that. He was part of that angle on Raw 1000 with when Heath Slater was calling out the legends.
Yeah, but I remember him like dancing with the Usos or something recently.
Yeah, I can't remember what that. They did a 6-man tag, I think.
Yeah,
that might have been in the against 3-man band. I think that was part of that whole little diss in the Legends feud.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't. As I said, no knock on Rikishi. You know, I enjoyed the heck out of him. But I just, when it comes to who's not in yet in the year that he's being put in, I just think I think there should be a Hall of Fame line, so to speak, and I really don't think Rikishi was standing at the front of the line waiting to get in. But that's just me. I don't. Everybody's going to have an opinion. So,
like in the Stone Cold podcast, I mean, it's a different type of Hall of Fame.
You're right. No, absolutely. I get that.
It's not like the guy with 600 home runs is going to be first ballot Hall of Famer, but it makes sense to put him in this year rather than this year. I mean, it's completely different. And like I said, I think it's more the entertainment side because obviously with Too Cool, the stink face, all that. I think he fits in more on the entertainment side because, like I said, he didn't win many titles. He only won one singles title in the WWE. So, we got Damien Mizdow against Sin Cara. Basically, just an angle to further Sin Cara's win streak, I think, is all that was.
No, absolutely not. This was most certainly a storyline to further the dissension between Miz and Mizdow.
I was kidding. That was great. The crowd was chanting, "You're from Cleveland," and then he gets on the mic and says, "Better than Columbus." That was great.
The one thing I had an issue with this match, and it really didn't have anything to do with the Miz and the Mizdow feud, is they cut a promo for the NXT show right before this match.
Mm-hmm.
Sin Cara is competing Wednesday night for the tag team titles, a rematch with him and Kalisto against Murphy and Blake and Murphy. I keep on want to call him Gunner and Murphy because of the TNA tag team. But Blake and Murphy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Blake and Murphy. And they didn't mention one time that he was going to be on the NXT show. I got informed by my friend Rod on Twitter that who lives in Brazil, that the Brazilian WWE commentators actually put over his tag match this Wednesday, but the American commentators didn't.
Well, no, it's like it doesn't even exist. I mean, it's not like when the Lucha Dragons were tag team champions, it's not like Sin Cara came out on WWE TV with the belt on, But I mean,
honestly, the last two NXT events, they showcased NXT on Raw before the event. Yeah, I was at the Raw in Baltimore where we got, it was Zayn and Neville against Tyson Kidd and Tyler Breeze. Like, I was there in the crowd for that match, and that was dope.
Yeah, and Neville was on fire.
Then you had the stinker with Charlotte and Natalya for the last event. And, I get it. If Vince was like, throw Tyler Breeze out there and get him crushed in 2 minutes, ha ha ha, pal. And Triple H is just like, no, at this point we'd rather not have anything at all. If it was one of those situations, I get it. But I think it would have been a lot better if you could have had an NXT versus NXT match on the show to help promote the show on Wednesday night, especially when it's being given away for free. And even if you don't want to give a match, did you watch NXT last week, Jeremy?
Yeah.
Did that segment at the end of the show, the 2-minute video package for Owens and Sami Zayn to sell that title match?
Mm-hmm.
Why didn't you just air that?
Yeah.
Here's the main event this Wednesday. WWE Network free. Check this out.
I mean,
that's all you had to do.
They're pushing the network down our throats so much. I don't get why they don't promote NXT, but I mean, I have my reasons why.
They advertised the pay-per-view twice. They played the little thing with all the comments and whatnot, and Cole and them talked about it right before the Sin Cara match. But I mean, it could have been so easy to take 2 minutes out of the show to air that video package between Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, and I think that would have gotten a lot of people that aren't following NXT and maybe don't realize that, oh damn, Kevin Steen and El Generico are in WWE now. Because, over 4 million people every week watch Raw, but only one, and that's in the United States, but only 1 million worldwide have the network. So it's a fraction of your audience have that service. So there might be a lot of people watching Raw that don't even realize that these guys are down there.
I honestly think the fact that NXT is pretty much ignored on the main shows is, I think Vince is getting wind that a lot of the fans are thinking that's the best show, and Vince gets butthurt because he doesn't have any control over that.
Because it is.
Well, it is. I think Vince is butthurt over the fact that show is getting raver reviews than Raw and SmackDown.
Yeah, well, we'll talk about it. We'll talk about NXT in a little bit.
Yeah. We got Ambrose and Curtis Axel. We got Axelmania trending again on Twitter.
Axelmania, sir.
Hey, at least they got something for him to do.
I know. I honestly, I love it. I think it's hysterical. I love too. Curtis Axel, dude. And they're finally letting him show some charisma with this whole hashtag Axelmania thing. Maybe it'll get over. Maybe he actually gets on WrestleMania. Maybe he's in like one of the stupid Andre the Giant Battle Royals or something. It'd be cool.
And then obviously we get Another interruption by BNZ, the Bad News Barrett ripoff of TMZ. I think he's just not doing the bad news thing because I think that's now a face thing, don't you think? He's not doing that. I'm afraid I got some bad news.
I think he'll do that when he's in the ring or like in the arena, but I think his whole on-screen gimmick is the bad news zone or whatever the heck he's calling it. They're just trying to get heel heat for him.
It'll be great if
they know everybody likes him. So they're just trying to figure out ways to make people hate him. So they figure by him cowardly not accepting Dean Ambrose's Intercontinental title challenge, which I feel ultimately will be accepted, and they will go one-on-one for the Intercontinental title at Fastlane. I think they're just trying to get some heel heat on BNB right now.
And then the main event, the 5-on-2 Authority versus Roman Reigns and Daniel Bryan. Standard chaos to start the match, and of course standard interference, and a lot of standards in this. But the main thing to take away from it, Roman Reigns tags himself in after Daniel Bryan does all the work. Roman Reigns just kind of laid out in the mat there the entire match. Tags himself in, gets a spear, and wins the match. So that kind of pissed off Daniel Bryan. They get a little shoving match, and it ends in a spear by Roman Reigns on Daniel Bryan. So we're going to have to see how these two how these two exist in the ring next this coming Thursday on SmackDown, as they will be having a little face-to-face, whatever that means.
At this rate, it will probably be fist-to-fist.
Probably.
Fist-to-face.
Let's look ahead.
Fist-to-face, maybe.
Well, let's look ahead to this Wednesday. We got the NXT Takeover, not a rival, it's rival because of the main event. But let's run down that card real quick here for you. We got a singles match between Hideo Itami and Tyler Breeze. Obviously, we're going to get some solid wrestling out of that.
Oh, yeah.
I'd assume Itami goes over there to avenge his loss against Finn Balor in the number one contender tournament.
You know what? I'm calling. I want to call it right now. Right here on Lost in the Midcard, I think Itami hits the GTS on Tyler Breeze this Wednesday. I think he's been teasing it for months. I think this Wednesday, Itami finishes Breeze off with a go to sleep.
We get a no DQ match between Bull Dempsey and Baron Corbin. This has been simmering for quite some time now, and of course, Bull Dempsey is the cause for Baron Corbin to get his first pinfall loss in the match against Adrian Neville. Which I want to quickly say, finally we got a kind of a lengthy match with Baron Corbin, and I was pretty happy with that match.
I thought it was a good match. No, I thought him and Neville had a great match. I guess I shouldn't say great. It was a good match.
Yeah, it proves that he can put on a good match that doesn't take 22 seconds. But I don't know what happened.
What do you think? What do you think about that match, man? Because I mean, I know what I would do, but I mean, I want to
the no DQ match.
Yeah, I know what I would do. What are you looking at?
I think Corbin's going to win, but I don't know. I don't see Bull going over here at all.
I think Bull's on a tightrope right now, and it's dangerous. And I mean, if they want to keep this dude legit, they have to be really careful how they book this match. I mean, if they're just looking to, okay, we already have our fat badass and Kevin Owens now, we don't need you anymore type of deal, then, let him get squashed and destroyed and whatever. What I would do, personally, is I would have this match be, every bit of a crazy, extreme, over-the-top ECW type match, as hardcore as they can get without the blood. I would have Corbin go over, but, I mean, it would be like, holy crap, Bull took me to the limit, and I respect the limit that you took me to, and I would have the two shake hands after the match, and I'd team them, I'd tag them.
Well, I said
the Ascension's not around anymore. You need a new big time monster tag team down there. I say put Bull and Corbin together. Put them.
I said that before they even had a match. I said, this is good. I didn't even think they were going to have a feud. I thought this was going to end in a kind of a respect thing, because when they were trying to go tit for tat with how quickly they could get a pinfall on the jobbers, I thought this was how it was going to end from the beginning. I didn't think it'd actually have a feud. I thought they were going to end up teaming.
Well, this feud can certainly turn into
later,
them teaming up.
Yep,
I think I kind of
called
tag team titles.
I kind of called that in the beginning there, that these guys were going to team up due to respect. So
look at us being on the same page and shit.
Yeah. I mean, look at my timeline. You'll have to go through a lot of tweets, but it's in there.
I believe you, brother.
Number 1 contenders match ends in the finals here at NXT Takeover Rival. Finn Balor and Adrian Neville. Holy shit, are we going to be in for a treat?
Dude, I'm telling you what, man. I'm excited for it. You know what's funny? I always glance over the spoilers the night that they happen. But I kind of forget about them by the time like the matches air, so I'm kind of still watching with a fresh mind because they tape like a month at a time. So I glance over them really quick, to see if any debuts or anything that piqued my interest or whatever. But for some reason, I remember reading that Itami beat Balor in the finals. Well, not in the finals, but in the semifinals. So I thought we were getting Itami versus Neville. And when Balor won, I'm like, holy shit, Balor won. We're getting Balor and Neville. I marked out, because I honestly remembered reading that Itami won. So I really popped that Balor won. Or Baylor, however you want to say his name, Finn Balor. And I'm excited for Finn and Neville at the event on Wednesday, dude. I think they're gonna tear the house down, and I really feel like this card is a constant game of can you top this? Mm-hmm. Because everybody's just going to be looking to outdo everybody else Wednesday night, and it's going to be phenomenal. And I guarantee you the main WWE roster is so happy that Fastlane isn't this Sunday because they don't want to have to follow what they're going to do on Wednesday night. They just don't want to do it. They don't.
No, there'll be a lot of NXT's better chants. Actually, this past week on NXT, we did get a better than Raw chant, which is kind of funny, and well, it's true too. So, who do you think goes over? Do we get a Neville Owens, do we get a Neville Zayn kind of a rematch there?
No.
You think Balor's got it?
I think Finn Balor's going to win. I think Neville's getting the call up very soon. I think it's Balor, and
he'll probably have his war paint on.
Yeah, I definitely think we're gonna get the awesome face painted epic entrance at these special events.
Tag team championship match. We got the upstarts, the guys that pulled off the upset. Blake and Murphy, guys with the cool dubstep entrance. They're gonna face the Lucha Dragons. I see Blake and Murphy retaining here. I think Kalisto is going to head to the main roster pretty soon.
That's what I would think the same thing. I would think the only reason they had to take the titles off of them is that they were planning on bringing Kalisto up. Maybe they form the Lucha Dragons on the main roster.
Wouldn't be a bad thing.
Wouldn't be a bad thing. You put those guys in there with the Usos, Kid and Cesaro. You have maybe a crazy triple threat tag match for the tag titles at Mania. Dude, hey. I'm still telling you, WWE, bring back the Dudley Boys. Throw them in there, make it a do another tag team 4-way to kick off Mania 31. Because I'm telling you, that match at Mania 30 really got the crowd going in a good way because that match was dope. So I would be cool with another tag team 4-way going into WrestleMania 31. That'd be pretty cool.
The NXT Women's Championship match, we got a fatal 4-way between Charlotte, Sasha Banks, Bayley and Becky Lynch.
This is going to be awesome.
I think Bayley gets this.
I think it's Sasha's time. I think Sasha gets the title.
Think so?
And you know what's funny about this match? I could see any one of the 4 walking out with the title.
Yeah.
And honestly, that's one of the main things I love about NXT as comparable to the WWE roster nowadays.
Mm-hmm. You don't know who's going to get it.
I don't. And that's what's so awesome about it. Because everybody in NXT is booked so well and so strongly at the top of the card that you can legitimately buy into any result, and you're like, yeah, I can see that happening. I can see everybody's just booked so well as comparable to the main roster. It's fantastic.
I can see Sasha Banks winning this just because it's a fatal 4-way match. She can't win the one-on-ones, but she could win something that's going to have a little more chaos to it. I think Bayley comes out on top just because of her attitude change lately. I think I think that leads into a Sasha Banks-Bayley feud once Charlotte drops the title and gets up to the main roster for good.
I mean, we can see it, but I mean, I don't know. I just feel like Sasha has paid her dues.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, I don't disagree.
I really feel like, even if it's only like a month or two, I feel like Sasha deserves a title reign down there before coming up to the main roster.
The main event, really not much to say about this because it is epic. It is 15 years in the making. These two guys, Sami Zayn, the champion, Kevin Owens, the challenger. Kevin Owens, obviously, being the asshole that he is, got himself the title on the line at the contract signing. William Regal amended the contract, so it is now for the NXT Championship match. These two have fought for years as El Generico and Kevin Steen. They get a main event, a WWE event for the first time, which is great for both guys, and boy, we're going to get ourselves a fight here.
Yeah, dude, it's going to be crazy.
You think Owens wins?
Man, I don't know. I mean, this seriously could go either way, but all WWE booking tells me that Owens isn't coming in 2 months and taking the title, but it's believable.
Mm-hmm.
Though the way they have everything set up, I could seriously see either one coming out with the title, and they have, two faces in the number one contenders match, so they're kind of making you think that Owens is going to get the title and have a match with Balor, or Neville, but I mean, he's already fought Neville once. I'd much rather see him and Balor go at it. But
you're talking about WWE booking. I could see WWE booking pulling that title off of Zayn after just a couple of months.
He's okay. Let's put it this way: the main event face side of NXT is a lot stronger than its heel side.
Mm-hmm.
So, and Owens as the champion has a lot more people to work with than Zayn does, and Zayn's always better in the chasing role anyway. It breaks my heart that he would have such a short title reign, but I honestly could see it going either way on Wednesday. I will not be surprised at whoever walks out the champion. The only way I will be surprised is if they don't have an amazing match. That's the only thing that would surprise me.
Yeah, I think it's almost guaranteed that that's going to be an amazing match outside of an injury. So that's something to look forward to this Wednesday on the WWE Network. We'll definitely talk about.
Watch it.
Yeah, we'll definitely talk about that on next week's show. How that resulted. Let's finish the show off with TNA giving us a pay-per-view for free. Lockdown was last Friday. What were your thoughts on the event overall?
First off, I just want to congratulate TNA Wrestling and Destination America. Once again, ratings came out Monday afternoon, the highest rated edition of Impact yet on Destination America. Almost 600,000 viewers. If you combine the rating with the replay, with the initial broadcast, almost 700,000 total viewers tuned in for Lockdown. So on a network that is only in like 63 or 64% of the homes that Spike TV's in, that's phenomenal. Mm-hmm. This company's going in the right direction, and honestly, for the wrestling business as a whole, I couldn't be happier for them.
The key thing is, though, they're putting all their cards out there right in the beginning. So,
but you have to.
The key thing is are they gonna be able to maintain it with just a normal regular show?
Well, you have to land your audience.
Yeah,
and I mean that's not a bad thing. I think all the tapings for the next month and a half are going to be overseas. So they're going to have those awesome live crowds.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, in the UK they draw just as many people as the WWE event. So I mean,
Yeah,
they're
if
going to
I remember right, I
those
think
great big look crowds from the overseas shows for the next month and a half, and that's going to make them look really good and big time as well. But no, I really enjoyed the show. I thought the show was good.
Yeah, I enjoyed the show. I think the end was kind of meh. We'll get to that here in a minute, but we had the TNA Tag Team Championship with the Hardys and the Revolution. The Revolution going over here, but the big thing there was, holy crap, that bump Jeff Hardy took off of that cage door.
Yeah, I mean, I know it was done, because Hardy can't travel out of the United States right now because of that drug charge from several years ago.
Yep. So that's going to sell his injury for being on TV.
Yeah, because I mean, Matt went on the UK tour and Jeff couldn't. So I feel like I wouldn't have been shocked if Jeff could have gone on that tour. I think we might have seen a title change there. I think before all is said and done, TNA is definitely going to let the Hardy Boys have a run with the TNA Tag Team titles.
Do you think someone, like I said, I just got into TNA again when they moved to Destination America, which is kind of the opposite of probably most of the other people. But do you see like maybe a Ken Anderson filling in and siding with? Has he been a heel the entire time, or has he ever been a face on TNA? Do you think he could?
He's Ken Anderson in TNA is the flip flopping Kane and Big Show of the WWE.
So him and Eric Young combined,
he's been heel and face in TNA so many times it would make your head spin.
So I mean that.
But
I
they
think
definitely they teased he's coming back next week. They're like, a TNA legend returns, and the dude's doing the freaking microphone pose.
Yep.
So I think Anderson's coming back to Impact next week. As a face or a heel, I don't know, but anything at this point wouldn't surprise me. Last time he was on TV, he was a face. So I'm going to assume that he's coming back as a face, but we'll see what they do.
I think it'd be a good guy to back up Matt Hardy if the Revolution, like if Matt wants to kind of get his revenge or something for them taking out his brother. I think maybe pairing him with Anderson together, I think that would be a pretty good thing.
Sure enough, I'm cool with that.
We got the BDC in the cage talking their own shit like they always do. Basically, the main thing out of that was Gunner's arm got injured into the cage, and that'll come into play. They thought maybe that would knock him out of the match, and then that would leave Angle with just 3 guys on his team, or just 2 guys on his team. Actually, I'm sorry.
Yeah, just him and Aries at that point.
Yeah, I was thinking 5-on-5 for some reason. But obviously Gunner fought through it, and we'll talk about that.
It made Gunner look like a badass.
Yeah,
that's
definitely.
good. And, you got to put him over, make him look strong.
He didn't give up, and he didn't give up, and he fought for Angle. So definitely, we got 2 behemoths in the Knockouts division, Havoc and Awesome Kong. That was pretty fun.
Match was fun. And my only complaint is I wish it would have been a couple minutes longer.
Yeah,
that was my only thing. I'm like, man, I wish I could have seen more of that.
That was a good one, and then we got a little rivals match between Bobby Roode and Eric Young.
Was awesome.
Yeah, that was a great match, and Bobby Roode came through with his promise that he was going to make Eric Young bleed, and he did. Those 2 put on a great show, and like I said, I'm an Eric Young fan, even though I'm not into TNA as much. I am now. Obviously, I'm watching every week, but I remember Eric Young as a joke before, and with the Team Canada and all that, and I kind of like the serious side of Eric Young, and this feud definitely makes sense to me as a guy that just has come in for the last month to back into TNA. So obviously Roode is going to be a top contender for the title, so no surprise that he got over there.
Yeah, dude, Bobby Roode's one of wrestling's best kept secrets right now. People don't. I don't think people really appreciate how good he is. And I think, I know WWE kind of overlooks a lot of people that have been in TNA for too long, but I really think they'd be making a mistake, if his contract came up again soon and they didn't look at trying to take Bobby Roode away from TNA. I think the dude's money.
Yeah. We got a handicap match after that, Rockstar Spud and Mandrews against Tyrus.
Ugh.
And Mandrews is such a stupid name.
It's pretty terrible.
But talented kid. Do you like Rockstar Spud? I kind of like him.
He's all right. He's really small.
Oh God, they both are.
I mean, yeah, they both are. I mean, that's honestly my only issue with them. I mean, a lot of people give the grief that people like Daniel Bryan and CM Punk shouldn't be able to beat anybody because they're small. Those guys are giants compared to Rockstar Spud.
Yeah, they are.
So I just Rockstar Spud against Tyrus.
It's just like a Spike Dudley thing. But I mean, are you excited for him to finally get his hands on Ethan Carter when it happens?
Yeah, I think the payoff will be worth it.
Okay.
He's got his charisma's off the charts. I just have trouble believing him as a character that can, as a wrestler who can stand toe to toe with a guy like Tyrus.
No,
I could definitely see
against Ethan Carter.
No, against Ethan Carter, no, that's a different story. But I mean, when he's in, because I mean, Ethan Carter's half the size that Tyrus is. So, I can't buy him in the ring with someone like Tyrus. But Ethan Carter III, nah, it's cool. I can dig that.
Well, Tyrus went over, so
as he should have.
As he should have. That's no doubt about that. The main event was Lethal Lockdown between the Beatdown Clan and Team Angle. Overall, I liked it. Overall, it was a great match. Lethal Lockdown's all about the brutality and the weapons and everything being legal. I liked all that. The whole Lashley thing was. Ray Charles saw that coming.
Yeah, well, I mean, they set the whole thing up with Angle going backstage and slamming him against his locker room wall. Telling him that they needed him on the team. So I mean, you knew he was going to come out and join the team because he is the babyface champion now since he's no longer associated with the Beatdown Clan. So, to not come out and help, would have been the heel thing. And obviously he's not a heel because he's not with the Beatdown Clan, which is the main heel faction in the company right now. And you can't be feuding with them if you're a heel. So, you just knew he was going to come out. But I don't really think it I don't think it hurt the impact of it at all, no pun intended. I thought he came out. He got a good, good reaction. I thought it was pretty dope. I enjoyed the match. I thought it was good.
I just thought it was way too predictable.
Well, no, it was definitely predictable. But sometimes it's not bad to be predictable.
The match itself, though, was solid, and we'll have to see where this goes from here. If MVP is going to be the number one contender, you got Bobby Roode, and Bobby Roode is currently number one in the TNA rankings. Answer me this: how is Low Ki in the top 5? I mean, Low Ki's awesome, but for the heavyweight championship, he's number 4. What does he? Can you make any sense of that?
I think Mike Tenay just likes to create controversial rankings every week on Impact Unlocked. And that he does it to generate conversation exactly like this.
Okay. He wins.
Yes, I don't think he has any rhyme or reason for why he's putting who he's putting in the lower end of the top 5. I think he just does it to create discussion and get the TNA brand to be talked about among the fans. I really think that's all it is.
Well, overall, TNA did deliver with Lockdown, and so it'll be exciting to see where they go. The legend is probably Kennedy if you've been paying attention. So it'll be kind of good. As I was a big fan or actually Ken Anderson. I was a big fan of Mr. Kennedy in the WWE. Obviously, he probably would have been the next big star if certain things didn't happen. Especially with the Vince McMahon child angle. I mean, we were looking at a great angle that turned into Hornswoggle, but yeah, that is the way life goes. So it would be interesting to see what happens there. Well, Matt, for being under the weather and on your deathbed, I think you handled it pretty well for this hour and 15 minutes.
Dude, I've been sucking on like a million cough drops, brother. But I mean, it's good. I hope I didn't annoy anybody with any weird noises or anything throughout the event. I'm so proud that I haven't coughed because I have to cough so bad right now.
Well,
but we will be doing that. Yeah, I will be coughing my head off when I get off the air here.
We'd like to thank SpiderDuck.net. They are hosting website for the podcast. They are they host quite a few podcasts, and they were the big reason that we are on iTunes. So make sure you first off go to our Facebook page, facebook.com/LostInTheMidcard. You'll see us be posting, pimping out our iTunes link and also our YouTube channel. You'll be able to find the show on either one of those platforms, but we definitely like to thank SpiderDuck.net for helping us get set up on iTunes, and thank you for subscribing to us. We got some great subscriber numbers for a podcast starting from scratch. We got some good YouTube numbers for a podcast starting from scratch, and so tell your friends and tell your friends to tell their friends, because we're going to keep going with this thing, even if just me and Matt are listening to it.
Hey, well, no, we've honestly, we've got a ton of great feedback in just the first 2 shows, and I appreciate all the support. The people are, talking about our podcast and putting it out to people. Like you said, subscribe, like, comment on our YouTube podcasts. Make sure to subscribe on iTunes. Rate us 5 stars. Leave us some good comments. It helps people find us easier in the pro wrestling category, because let's face it, there's a lot of great pro wrestling podcasts out there, and we are, in a term, kind of lost in the mid-card of all these great wrestling podcasts that are already out there. But I feel we got something special to offer, the great wrestling community out there, and I appreciate all the love that you guys have given us in just in the first 2 weeks, and we can't wait to keep it going and get better every week. And hey, if you have any questions, you have questions for us, you want us to answer them on the air, put them on our Facebook page. We'll shout you out. We'll talk. We'll call you out by name. We'll answer some questions on the air. It'll be great. Don't be afraid to come and ask us some questions.
Yeah, that is definitely want to echo that. I just want to say thanks to everybody for the good, kind words there. We did actually ask for some questions. We did right after our first episode, and obviously we did get one response there. David Cohen had asked us what we thought about the basically what we didn't call him out, but so we apologize for not calling out David Cohen, but he did ask obviously what we thought about Vince shitting on the fan favorites at the Rumble, and we definitely let our feelings know on that. That's definitely.
We told you, Dave. We told you how we felt.
There was
we appreciate
no holding
the question.
back. There was no holding back there, and so look for a Facebook post once again. Facebook.com/LostInTheMidcard. Obviously, we don't have a Twitter account set up for that because
we need to get on that, don't we?
I don't know.
I think
me and you are good enough on our own singles. We'll figure that out maybe later.
If you think we need a Twitter account, tweet us and let us know. At RAWF Showtime, at JB Huskers, tweet us and say, you guys need a Lost in the Midcard Twitter account, or you guys don't need a Lost in the Midcard Twitter account. We want to know what you think. Fire it off. Let us know. We want to hear from you.
Definitely, and that's going to be a wrap for this week. Once again, thank you for tuning into Lost in the Midcard podcast. We will hopefully be back at our regularly scheduled time on Monday morning, but we're a day late, but not $1 short, so that ain't a bad thing. Next week on episode 4, we are going to be running down our preview of Fastlane, as this will be the last podcast, which will be Monday the 17th. It'll be the last podcast before the pay-per-view event. And so we're going to have from SpiderDuck.net, Trevor Oz is going to join us as we run through our predictions and also thoughts of the last Raw and SmackDown leading up to the event. And like I said, once again, thanks for joining us on Lost in the Midcard, and we will catch you next week.
Fantasy booking.